Okay, so we're live, and this is the reason I'm filming this like with my webcam and everything is because my camera just overheated, which is fine. It's not a big deal. So that's all fine and dandy. What I'm going to talk about is what's going on with Anesti TV. If you guys are paying attention, that is, uh, I made a couple of videos and it's all going well. I'm in the process of editing several more. For example, I have 2 more soda reviews that have yet to be completed in editing, as well as an update video, a more well done update video. I guess this is sort of an update video. And what else? I just filmed a video here, 2 videos actually. So there are a few videos out there that I have and I know what I'm doing with them. The problem is my computer or software is it's not liking it. I guess it decided to turn on me. But no fear, I have my blog which I can write on, and that's nice. I set that up, and if you haven't checked it out, guys, go do that. Tell people about Anesti. If you're enjoying it, spread the word. The more the merrier, really. I'm still getting used to vlogging. I'm trying to vlog. If I can't get that stuff out there, that's alright. So far, so good. Not complaining too much. It's a little frustrating, though, having issues. Might ramble a bit, so be prepared. I just wanted to fill you guys in on what's going on. Yeah, and this is kind of the problem with not editing. I have a lot of pauses sometimes, so it's late, and burning a little incense. Made a video about it, so that when I finish editing, these videos will be up there with the rest pretty soon, I guess. I'm not going to give a time frame. I don't really need to. I'm not feeling too pressured to put out any videos. I like doing this. I'm thinking of what I want to talk about in future videos. So if any of you have topics, whatever it is that you think I'd be a good speaker on, then that's greatly appreciated. I kind of wanted to talk about, just now, I thought about talking about Dace because this little thing going on here, it really reminds me of it when I was just using my webcam. And it doesn't really bother me. What I'm saying is I wasn't sure about Daceaid, and yeah, I needed a better name, let's be honest. I really thought I wanted to make some sort of ministry YouTube channel, and I really wanted views so bad, man, so bad. But this wasn't happening, so I kinda got discouraged, and it really sucked, but I tried it, and a couple years later, it pretty much definitely stopped with Daceaid. and thought I want to say something, something I want to say. I don't really know what, I guess. I still don't. I thought, let's make some videos. I don't even remember now. It's only been a few weeks, but I forget why I bought a camera and whatnot. I got this new camera, and you know, it's really nice. I like it. I like filming these videos. I'm just on hold right now. I'm thinking about blog topics as I'm doing this. I'm trying to think about too much at once. I think that's one of my problems, but I need to get this out there. I have felt like I'm transforming, and like my friend said, talk about it. Make a vlog about this. And so I'm thinking, think a lot. I've had some great experiences since school's let out. I just want to say I'm very glad that I'm out of high school. This might sound conspiracy-like. Disregard it if you're offended easily or something. I think that high school, for whatever reason, if it was on purpose or not, really doesn't matter. But I feel it. I might be crazy. I might be, who knows? But this is how I feel. I feel that high school was crushing my something. And that, I say that it sounds a bit odd. You're probably confused now. But I feel that I don't know if it was creativity or mental stamina. I didn't have enough energy, mentally, spiritually, whatever. Maybe it was being surrounded by negativity all the time, and I want to talk about that. But now that I'm out, which is so nice, I have freedom, I have time to do this stuff I want, trying to figure out what I want to do. Starting to look forward to college. I'm going to be going to community college and have some opportunities to volunteer, which is nice. And I'm already planning that out. It's just really nice to be out of high school. The whole public school system so far. Yeah, I'm going to be back in it technically with community college, but hey, community college is kind of like some socialism thing. Like, I like it. Free college, why not? I think we need free college, or if not free, reduce it greatly. The costs are insane. Uh, you know, it's just ridiculous. And that's all I have to say about that topic. See, I ramble a bit. Crushing my creativity, perhaps. Like I said, maybe negativity. I'm kind of negative, my mom would tell you. Not all the time, but there's a nice dosage here and there. Uh, you know, but my friends, they are good friends. I have very good friends too. The ones I hung out with a lot are good people. I love them. They're my friends. They're my family, really. You love your family. Sometimes you have to take a step back, though, and find out for yourself. So I would suggest that to anyone who doubts whether or not their friends are beneficial to them. Not to sound confrontational or judgmental, That's not where I'm coming from. This is my experience. You may have people that are your greatest friends, and you'd say, that's my best friend, or we're always together and stuff. Even boyfriend, girlfriend, dating world. You think they're good for you, but, maybe you're just not good for each other. And I'm not saying that about my experience. But I am saying there's negativity, definitely. That's kind of segueing into what I want to talk about next, which, since I got out of high school, I'm just going to call this video since I got out of high school. I have I've had experiences. I don't know if I already said that. Might have been another video. And they've been amazing. And simple things, really. Even staying home all day, most days it's different. I don't like it really that much. It's nice to sleep in, but whether it's going for a drive and just something clicks, and then a little while later, a few days, a discussion can turn into some cosmic explosion. Basically, that's how it felt. And one of the greatest moments of my life ever. Maybe from here on out, maybe that is one of the best things I'll ever experience. And I don't want to go into too much detail. It's let's just say it's really, that's all. It's amazing. And there's a moment of clarity, a moment of like very clear, calm, peaceful. I would say I found myself. Finally, may be the right word. Yeah, finally. And with friends and negativity and school, I think that might have been pushing it down, sad, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened, if somehow changing circumstances just opened up the universe, basically. And I'm sort of spiritual. I wouldn't say that, though, ever. I don't say I'm spiritual or this or that. I don't really do that. At least I wouldn't call myself that, because that can mean many things to many people. Religious, probably. Something. I'm finding new faith. A real faith, a strong faith that is true. Finally. How many times have I said finally? I really don't know. It's like a genesis or something, regenesis, rebirth, transformation. But not entirely, because like I said, hampering down, or whatever you want to call it, inhibiting of whatever. It could be anything. It could be myself, my own mind that maybe has been conditioned to see things a certain way, maybe to act a certain way, and finally having clarity and connection with my true self is an act of God. And I think when I was telling my mom about it, she called it an epiphany. You know, really, my mom's great, by the way. But I think finally I've seen something, felt something supernatural, so to speak. You know, I've heard stories countless times, you know, in this age of, you know, TV and social media, the internet. There's tons of stories, you know, endless amounts of stories, but it's really important when it's you. I won't even say it was like supernatural in the sense that some people think like, oh, there's fire from the sky and I saw heaven. I saw heaven. And no, it was just there. It's like mindfulness, being aware, and it's it forever. And it wouldn't destroy the moment. Why would that be important, you might ask? What does that have to do with religion or faith? Wouldn't that just be meditation? Well, maybe. But I've never really meditated before. I've thought about it. Wanted to try it. I've heard it's great. You know, it'd help you. But this is not meditation. I don't think. I think, you know, I just think I just allowed it to happen somehow. But I don't know how. It happened. It just sort of did. And I'm very grateful for that. That's why I said act of God, you know. It might have been the turning point of everything for me. A beautiful thing, but unfortunately with every great change or revolution, there's always sometimes a spinning around again or falling back down. You know, let's get real. Kind of happened after that day. I was disappointed a bit. I'm not now because I'm purposely trying to change my mindset as it is with certain things and, you know, how I think, I guess, is really how I think about things. Like, say you want to accomplish something, you just have to make a habit of it, whatever it is. That's kind of an example. Where was I? Thinking, you know, about how great that moment was, and then compared to, oh, I'm sort of back in normal life, back to work, which isn't bad, not too bad. You know, that's what people would say. It's not that bad. But once you experience something that most people don't, I guess, I mean, I only hope they will someday if they aren't already. But once you experience that, everything basically seems like nothing, really. But it's not nothing. It's something. Everything's something. Work included. I gotta go to work. You know, I need a job. I don't work that much anyway, so I don't work many days. I really just I don't know. I want to talk about it since it happened. I want to tell everybody about it. But what am I supposed to say? The greatest moment of my life? Okay. It's just a little, it's sad, I guess. This is back to normal life, back to, you know, not the same old, because I'm changing things up. I really want to do an SD TV, and so bad. Why? I don't know. It's just, I like doing it, and I think, back with the essay, it wasn't about that. It was about, I don't know, I was some wannabe evangelical that was, wanting to do, I don't know, do something. And so, it's different now. It's not even the same thing now. I'm trying to be natural and let it flow, and I think it's working better. People seem to enjoy what I have so far. That's good. But I like doing it. It's a challenge when your software doesn't work. But I'll buy some new software. That's one of the things I'm looking to buy. Speaking of buying, I might as well talk about what I bought lately. Because it's fun. Yeah, we all like to show off our stuff. I bought, this is funny, at Walmart. There's your ad, Walmart. I got frankincense and myrrh sticks. And a little burner thing. I've already burned some. It really gets in there, and the second it started burning, it was really smoky. I made a video documenting all this, and it needs to be edited. It smelled like church. I associate that with church. That's a funny thing. I'll save that for a couple minutes here for now. Mentally. Church. Okay. So I got that. Like $7. Almost $8 for all that. There's like 40 sticks in each. Still not even through the first one. I shouldn't be. That'd be a lot. I got my camera. I love this thing. Speaking of cameras, my GoPro is over here. I really like this. I did some vlogs when I was trying to reboot over the summer, this past summer, and it was like Truth Seeker, I wanted to call it. And that GoPro I used, thank you, Dad. Very good camera, very versatile. It's got 30 frames per second, 60, I believe. It's got 120, so slow-mo. It's got nice options and different full 1080p or WGV, whatever it's called. But yeah, I got some books. I got some Philokalia, Eastern stuff. we went to Barnes & Noble, and I thought, alright, I gotta get a book. Every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I gotta get a book. What interests me right now? Okay, I thought, I'm going to church, a new church on Sunday, so I'll get a book about that. And I got this. I haven't read it yet. It's only been like a day now, so it's got prayers and great stuff. But it was the only Orthodox book I found in the whole place. Not kidding. And then I got Greek phrase book and dictionary. I think I want to take Greek in college. I definitely think that. Really bad. I say really bad. I've taken Spanish and French, but Greek is a beautiful language, and not so many words of our English come from it, which is nice. So it's useful. It's a useful language, but it's beautiful and it has significance. And I want to go to Greece. I think that's first on my list, and I just think it'd be a nice thing. I speak Greek, really. So I have to remember those two topics I'm thinking of. There's one topic I kind of wrote down in ash here about the church, and then a story about going to the church, which I actually did in a video. But we'll see if that comes out in the editing. I think that's it. That's all I've bought lately. So yeah, some good stuff. I didn't use all my graduation money. I'm not going to use it all. Saving and college and stuff. So this is turning into a long video about stuff. It's a ramble. I just gotta do it. So as I was talking about with the incense, I said when I smell it, I think church. Yeah, okay, I've been to some Catholic churches. They use frankincense, and Orthodox. This smells just like, it's real frankincense. It's made in India. That's probably good. But I don't know, real or not, smells exactly like what I've smelled, and that's comforting. I love the smell of frankincense. Since I first smelled it, I was like, what is that? It smells really good. So church, yeah. I kind of associate church with I don't know anymore. We went to church today, our church, Methodist church. Lovely place, lovely people. Made good friends there. It was a large part of my life for so long. The important years, I guess, to me. They're all important years. Don't forget that. But the most significant ones. And my mind has a way of obsessing over things, I've been trying to find my way mentally as much as spiritually. I do think that it's a part of the psyche. The soul and the psyche are kind of intertwined. Whatever you believe, if you believe you have a soul or not, that's okay. If you don't, I think we do, because of what I've experienced. I wouldn't call it mental. You might call it mental. As I was telling my story, for example, about the Epiphany, I guess you could call it. Not the Epiphany. But, that experience, I think, was the very first major point where I knew for sure there's something greater, there's something, and God's speaking to me about this, and, here we go. I was amazed at what I felt, and, it's hard to explain. Like I said, I can only hope that people experience that for themselves. And so I really just knew everything, I guess. It's like, I'm gonna be this. I don't want to say it yet. I've told only a few people. And, that's great. I don't need to tell everybody yet, which is fine. There's no problem. But where I was kind of going with that, church in my mind, I think changed. It's almost vague now that I think about it. It's really a change in my worldview completely that I didn't really expect. I've been researching Orthodoxy for quite some time now, over a year, and I've been considering it, and going back and forth in my mind as I was speaking with my mind and psyche, soul. For me, I was wandering mentally, even daily. In the morning I'd wake up and I'm like, I'm going to be a Methodist, okay. Go to sleep, I'm like, I'm a Catholic or something. And that's honest, that was a big struggle. That was too much most of the time, really. And I don't know if anyone's experienced that, at least to such an extent. I mean, this was daily, just tiresome bickering between myself and myself about it for so long. And I was like, I don't know. I think I didn't really forget about it. I didn't, this past school year, I still was doing it in my head, even worse, and I was like, this is getting worse and worse. I tried to express it to people as best I could. It's just, it sounds all crazy speaking about it. And I think that's the moment, finally, recently, that day, that early morning, awakening, I felt peace. And to feel peace after so long of not feeling peace, it is saving. It's something very amazing, and I've never had that before. So, but it's more than just ease my mind. Like I said, I think it is definitely a spiritual thing. I know it's a spiritual thing, let's just say. So I believe, really, that Orthodoxy is the truth. Now, I feel almost a little bad about that, because, well, I mean, I have my doubts about things all the time, and that's normal. I don't really have much doubt about this, I don't know what happened. I saw in my mind, like, you can be part of this church. It's the church. And that's what I'm saying. Now we're full circle. Now I know where I'm at. Church has changed for me. If I walk into a youth group, for example, of Protestant thing, I don't even know if it registers as church or a church. It's so different. It's crazy. I really, and when I speak about this, it is there. It's in me. It's like recalling the Epiphany. It's so strong. It's so that peace returns and that confidence is there. Something I've never had before. I'd probably be lying if I would have said I was more sure about the truth than I am now. And I feel like I just need to say this all. Yeah, the church is, everything has problems, and problems may not be real problems, depending on your viewpoint. What I'm thinking of, cultural issues, marriage equality is a big one that's on my mind quite a bit. I say government, church, separate. Therefore, whatever they rule is legal or not, it shouldn't affect. It doesn't affect me. I say that. It doesn't affect me. It does. It affects us all to some extent. But I don't think we need to be hating on anything. I'm not against it. I'm for it. Like, for the political side of legalizing it now. In church, marriage can be defined one way, and outside a different way. That's, with a lot of things, that's what it's been anyway. You're not going to stop it. So, those views are controversial. And I have somewhat strong views about it. I'm not going to let anything deter from this because I can't. It's something that I'm very sure of, and yet doubt seems to come in. If I, don't approach it spiritually, if I do examine it, it doesn't really make sense, which from my mind is hard because I just want things neat, black and white, man. It's just not that way. And, back to what I was saying about Protestantism. I've said that a lot lately to my friends who I can talk about these things with. I say, oh, the Protestants are, as if, I'm not technically a member of a Protestant church. But I don't identify with that anymore. It's really bizarre to me, and getting it out there is even more bizarre. Bizarre because I was used to something for so long. In America, you say Christian. Okay. People think one thing, and there's a whole nother world that not enough people know about. and it's so much different. It feels so genuine. And unfortunately, today I sort of realized that at our church currently, I didn't understand what was going on completely. Which is odd, because I know exactly, you go in church, you sit down, you greet people, you sit down, stand up, you sing, you greet people officially, and, sermon. It just didn't register. It isn't now, and it's not there as church. The more I say church, it's like a major change in my heart, really my mind, and I don't want to be judgmental about it. They are Christians too, so to speak, but yeah, I feel very strongly about it now. I didn't before. I mean, I didn't really before. That's why I was wishy-washy. Couldn't decide. I was gone with the wind. Which this way and that, And it was very crummy, to say the very least. Like I said, it was battle. It was really battle. It was constant confusion. So I've never really told anyone about that. I guess I tried to sort of, with some people, talk about it, but there's no help. It took that long, though, several months, over a year, to finally reach a point where it was all clear. And we're talking like what I'm going to do with my life, what I need to do, what I should do. And I think it's that's that. That is what I am being called to do. Why? I don't know. Because if it were my choice, I would want the dream job, which dream job or career is something that is way different from what I feel called to do. And that's kind of proving that this is a calling more than anything. It's partially something it's hard to explain, really. I'm not finding the words. Calling, like, there's really no other way. Black and white. Now how you're gonna get there, that's, no one knows. And that's okay. It's a piece about it that I felt. And I just want to tell everyone about it. I just really, for days after, I'm going to say what happened. My life's been changed. Finally. I kept hearing stories about life-changing things. Okay, back to the Protestant thing. Christian concerts. Christian radio, YouTube, television. Don't watch Christian television. They're liars. That's really it. I watch it. I like to watch it my long days off, because my days where I don't do anything. Sometimes because it amazes me how, I don't know. I'm not gonna go there really. I was used to be into it. There's that fake evangelical. So I would advise you to stay far away from anything like that. That is not, at least what we have now. You know, hopefully years from now we'll have a real Christian thing. I don't even think we need that, but you're always gonna have some sort of Christian media. I did notice that if you go on iTunes and stuff, there are tons of Catholic podcasts, tons of evangelical fundamentalist preachers, solo guys or whatever. I'm talking about big, rich blood, like American preachers, all that stuff. Mega church pastors and people that even the secular community knows, or whatever you can call it that. You have tons of those. You look up Orthodox. I think the last podcast I've seen that's been published was 2009. Maybe, there's only like 2 podcasts I think that are still going. Different priests doing it. It's nice. And then, the scholarships or whatever, the book writing is less in the church, but that's not necessarily because they're less Orthodox. But here in America, I think it's just not known hardly at all, and I don't think it's the same gig. I don't think it is. It's a completely different animal. So what I'm trying to get at, I guess, if you caught that, probably did. I feel very happy about this whole thing, and I keep saying finally, it's, it is it. It's like, okay, you can relax a bit, and I heard all those stories everywhere about people's born again experience, this and that, whatever. And I was kind of envious. Speaking of YouTube, I watched videos about people who had dreams about Jesus, what Jesus told them, about the end of the world. It's always the end of the world. And I was thought, I guess I'm not special enough for that, I can't experience that. That's fine. I felt like I was a sinner, and I wasn't trying hard enough or something, so it wasn't going to happen. But then I thought, well, there's grace, so I pray earnestly, I read the Bible, I do this stuff, nothing happens. Right? I don't feel awesome. I feel like a jerk. So this is, by years, like 2013, probably a little before that, so 10th grade, maybe. I was really into it. 9th and 10th grade, really. I was known as a Jesus freak in ninth grade, particularly from a couple people. And I was kind of a jerk about it, I guess. And I regret that, but I don't regret it because it's not. I regret it. But that's the past. And things are very different now. Very different. I have awoken. So, that's funny. I went through those years of school with just judgmentalness that, I don't know, it was unfounded, if that's the right word. It had no real basis. I had an idea, a preconceived idea that was being put into me about different things. And I don't regret any of this. I don't regret, being led astray, if if that's the right word, if those are the right words, because I'm here now, I feel great. It's time to do something, don't remember the past all the time, go forward. And so, I don't regret the evangelical years, and I've been tempted to kind of sink back into that mindset. I call it mindset, it wasn't a spiritual set, or whatever. Yeah, it didn't feel, I don't know what it felt like. There's such a, it's like, I can't believe it's not butter. But, it's not butter, and it sucks, because you've had butter, you've had Kerrygold, and you see Kerrygold, and you can't really go back to, whatever, the, blue bonnet, and that's what it's like. It's not butter to you, and you can believe it's not butter because it's not butter. But to the other people, the people who are still on Bluebonnet, they look at Kerrygold and they think, that's a little much, isn't it? Organic, grass-fed, Irish butter? What are you? But they haven't really tasted it, for what it is. Maybe they've tasted it, but they still like their fake butter. The butter that's not butter. And that sucks. I was there, though. I don't know what I was thinking. The more I talk about this, I believed it. I thought, I'm going to heaven with Jesus. It's fine. If you believe that, if you have that faith, good. But I want to talk about something that really bugs me. Just does bug me, and I want to get it out there. Grace. I don't think I ever discussed grace on Dasade. I didn't make enough videos to really go through the topic list. Grace is weird because, it's like the claim to fame for Christianity in general. So says the charismatic person or something. They'll be like, this is unique among all religions. Grace, because God accepts us and forgives us, which is sort of true, only partially. But the idea here is that you can do anything, and if you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, personal Lord and Savior, who died for your sins, you're, I guess, given any free right to heaven. But there were contradictions. Have you ever heard of the unforgivable sin? It's a thing, I guess. And that's one example. Another would be, you know, it just seemed like every time they would say grace, 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 they'd turn around and say sin. Look at these sinners out here. And this is the same camp. This is that Protestant camp. It's all, to lump them all together is maybe not the best thing. But the ideology is still the same. You can look at all the species of cats, and they're all cats. I like cats, but it's a simple example. It's all the same function. There are differences, some major, many minor ones, but they're basically the same thing. And that's, the idea in Christianity, Western Christianity, mostly, not Catholicism, is grace, and they love it. But why? To me, it never made sense. It still doesn't make sense. I'm not going to try to figure it out. But what I've heard said about, and in Roman Catholicism too, is that, and I'm speaking of Orthodoxy, let's rephrase that, in the RC and in the EOC, it is the same idea. You have sacraments, marriage, baptism. There's 7 of them. There's less. There's only 2 or 3 in the Protestant side, but you get sacraments, and you receive grace through these. So this makes more sense, logically speaking. Okay, if you have grace, it's grace, but can you earn grace? That's the question. Protestants say you can't. Some Protestants would, but they're saying it in the end anyway. That's what I'm saying. You have to do something to get it. So it's not really grace. It's not. It's still favoritism. But on the other side, the RC, the EOC, we say, you have sacraments, man. Follow these sacraments, do these things, do things, and live life in the church. And this is a major clicking point for me. It's like, it makes sense. The point is to live the Christian life, the true, and it's not about feeling righteous or judging those who aren't. You're not supposed to judge people outside the church as it is, and that's the major reason why I do actually support almost anything the laws could throw out there, because it's not the church. It doesn't bother me like that. I understand that there's human side and church side. Laws are different. They're always going to disagree. It's natural. The Bible says it. So getting these politics all mixed up, the fundamentalists, the evangelicals, they married the GOP, this is America speak, with Christianity. It doesn't fly. It's not Christianity. It's not politics either. It's crap. Sorry. You can't meddle in the lives of non-believers. I believe that. It's live and let live, but you do still want to go out and, share with those who are seeking, and share with those who, need it, but they'd be seeking, If they're not seeking and they're not willing, give them time. You don't have to be up in their face all the time about it. But anyway, grace. I didn't like it because Um, I had to restart. I reached my limit on recording on this thing. Uh, I didn't like this Grace thing because it's 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 not what it seems, I guess. And you know, I may be looking at it wrong. I may be simplifying it too much. I may be trying to point out the big inconsistencies or whatever, or the small ones. But you know, it's crazy. It just didn't make sense to me. So they'd focus on sin a lot. At least that's the way it seemed, and they turn around and say grace, 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 but you know, you're supposed to say a prayer and be forgiven, forever or what? I don't know. And sort of losing my track of mind. But the whole point is, I like to get it out there, I guess. When I see things that are ridiculous, I rant about them to people, but I have never talked about it on camera. And this has been the biggest hodgepodge, random doohickey of a video that I've ever made, because I feel inspired and, you know, like I need to tell along. So this is the longest update video I'll probably ever do. I hope people are still listening, whoever listening, make it to the end. But if not, that's cool. I just feel like it's worth it. And you know, it may not be, but it doesn't matter. And that's what the point is. The point is, you know, figure it out. I hear people talk about their problems, and I don't want to belittle it at all. I just, you know, after seeing something beyond belief, beyond life itself, what we know of life, it just is so small. It's ridiculous. I never thought about it in that way. I have, but I didn't have the experience to really justify it, that view of just like really looking at how small it is. You know, you take your finger, put it close to your eye or your nose, the end of your nose. It looks big. Further away you get, it is small. It's it's hard to say, and I know people don't like that. That's okay. This isn't really about liking or not liking. I don't care. I have something I want to share. I want to help people in a big way. And I saw that I would do that. In that moment, I found myself, my true self. It's just, there's no words. There are no words that really, what's the word? You know, I can't find words for the words. Words that do it justice, do it anything near. It's still going. It's still there. It's life altering in a way that may not seem like it to all people or to many people. You know, it's still, like I said, I still work. I still gotta go to school in the fall. It's just the way it is. You know, I have to, because I mean, I don't mind, but I feel like everything's in perspective now, which is great. Finally in perspective. And no class would ever teach me that. I do declare. No Bible study would have allowed me to, you know, my soul to open up to that, I don't think, even. And the Bible's a very valuable thing. But I'm just saying, it's just sort of a study, a class, you know, nothing like that could have done this. It wasn't thought out. This video wasn't pre-planned. This is me, like, just laying it all out. I want to share it. I have a need to share things because, you know, I don't want to live a fake life. It's not a life. It's bogus. I feel like I can have a real life that I'm honest and I'm me, and you know, finally free of struggles, free of things that I felt like couldn't get over before, and I can, and you know, finally be spiritually, mentally whole at once. Not again, because I wasn't, you know, not spiritually whole, mentally whole again. No, I don't think I ever was. I think it's a process of discovering, you know, who you are truly. You know, you have who you are, who you think you are, and who everyone else thinks you are, which is, can't even count the number, and that's just the way it is. Those don't exist. That's the thing. You can morph your it's like your body. You have your physical body, which is you. To the humanist, it's you, completely mental, and that's only on the mental plane. Then you have spiritual, just something greater, and people define this in different ways, but you have that. That's you, and that physical thing can be morphed by those millions of versions of you that throughout your life that people create. The point is to find you. And I mean, sounds cliche, but it's really true. I don't know how that can happen though. For me, I don't know if it did, and I still am in this physical thing, this existence, human understanding, human ways. Still gotta go to work. You know, mental traps, prisons that you can break free from if you try, but you still kind of have to just stay in that place and then be thrown around. You're thrown around because people think this, you, that, you, and you will, you know, given you, you sort of just go without a mooring. You know, I say grounded. I feel grounded now. If you don't have that, you know, your physical goes everywhere. Your body, your mind. What's going to happen? It's going to be drawn out by different forces. What other people think and do, want you to do, and it's, you know, you can. It's like a self-prison. It's not real, but it becomes real very easily. I would venture to say that almost 100% of human, like the people on this planet, are in that mental prison. It's, different degrees. The more, you know, blatantly, I'm not gonna start throwing out labels for it. It's just the way it is, you know. You can be an animal, basically, or you can try to rise above. And those that are trying to rise above, are many, you know. Earnestly, they may not be doing it right. They may not have found it yet, but they will, hopefully, someday. They are the ones that are working their way up. And you don't get that by grace. That's something that the idea of grace, in the way it's offered in fundamentals, this isn't fundamental stuff, it was made up later. This is the idea that they've created. It's kind of wrong. Where's the transformation? Baptized in the Holy Spirit. The blood covenant. Okay. And, you know, you pray for your frickin', you know, whatever, like, insert minutia here. Why? It's just, and that's not a blanket term. I'm not saying that's everyone. There's no way. Many think bigger. But you see the point. The point is, those planes, physical, mental, spiritual, and you have to engage the spiritual. You have to find it, or you will, you know, you could drive yourself crazy. You could suffer forever, your whole human life, in addictions and whatever. It's your choice. I mean, you have to search, really, for the exit door, as it were. And so, I think that grace does not offer that exit door, really, at all. Especially in my experience. You know, there's no need to change much. And they'll still try to say there is. Well, yeah, we're back at square one. You say grace, but you turn around and say sin. You want us to accept Jesus. Why? Well, have you ever thought about why? Maybe so we get a bunch of people that think like us, because it makes us feel, it titillates us or something. Which, you know, would explain the megachurch idea. And then it becomes just a self-help dynasty of who knows what. Earthly, you know, prosperity gospel, whatever. It turns into something. It's not about spirituality at that point. And that's the worst case scenario. We see it. We already have it going on, especially in America. That's just the way it is. But the point is to be on that other plane. You may think you're on that other plane of, the spirit. The spirit. People throw that word around a lot. Spirits, ghosts, Holy Spirit, my spirit, my soul, whatever. But what is it? You have to find it. And once you do, it's not going to be that crazy dream about Jesus. Why? Because you don't need that. What you need is something even greater. Yeah. The problem is, I think, it's those boundaries that they built. It's the mindset in that physical realm. We want something spectacular. We're gonna make something spectacular. We can tell all the stories we want. Does it make it really true, really amazing? No. I had a dream or whatever. Okay. Now what? If this is judgy, if this is whatever, it's just, so be it, I guess. I'm challenging you all who've made it to this point to search. And if you, were to say to me, oh, I found a lovely, little church and it's, I feel it. It's good. But would you reevaluate again and, keep, you'll know it. And that's the thing. I can't say for sure what you're going to experience. No way. It may be different for everyone. I'm very convinced, though, that, I'm finding truth. Each day, the more I meditate, so to speak, on it, what I was letting in, what I was trying to be like, the whole evangelical thing, nowhere did it make sense. Nowhere did it fit. I guess, you hear checking the Holy Spirit, checking my soul, or checking my spirit, whatever. The Holy Spirit spoke to me, or I prayed about it and it wasn't right. I guess it was like that for me all the time. No matter how hard I tried, I was trying to do something, to be something. I don't know why. I was expected to be, And I have friends that are atheists, so they haven't experienced anything that tells them this is true or that's true or anything. I hadn't either. So at one point I identified as one. I was a little ticked off at some point when I started, looking into it for myself. I didn't know it would lead me on such a journey of really just crazy. This is crazy. I'm dumbfounded. It wouldn't make sense to me a month ago, It wouldn't. And maybe it's because I'm out of school or something, out of those energies. Like, I talk about energies to people sometimes. I've thought maybe it's energies that people have. And people say vibrations, whatever. High vibrations are bad, low, or good. Well, either way, you know what I'm saying. You might have heard that too. I think energy is a good word. It's an it's, people say your words matter. Speak good words. And back to the evangelicals, they say this a lot. This is a big thing coming up now. Words are important. Words have meaning. Whatever, Speak life. You've heard this, I'm sure. If you haven't, filling you in. And that's fine and dandy, but I don't think it's more than that. You know, there are those preachers that will say, yeah, it could be even, I don't know if I've heard one that said this, but it could be your physical, your mental energy, your thoughts, because they lead to actions, don't they? Well, not all of them do. Maybe way down the road, but I think there's definitely something spiritual, going on, energies, and I don't know. That's just my kind of theory. And I think there's a bad energy going on. I think I can feel it sometimes. Maybe it's in my head, I walk in a room and it's just that it's like, not the only one that feels this. It's that, people know this. I think we can pick up on it, especially if we're in tune. If you're not in tune, you wonder why you don't feel good. You wonder why you, not even just physically, mentally exhausted. You feel dead, perhaps. Maybe it's the energy, and maybe being around it too long is killing you, per se. And I do think that might be what school was for me. I honestly, really, I've thought about it, like I said, something. I'm trying to put into words what it might be. And, was it killing me? Oh, don't be so melodramatic. Perhaps. But it's over, so it's fine. I feel alive for once. And it's not because I'm sitting around doing what I want. It can be. Back into the mental thing and the spiritual thing, I know it's something more. Or I wouldn't be talking about it. I wouldn't have sat here for however long it's been speaking about it. I wouldn't. But the drive to do this is insane. I've never felt that something's more true in my life. This, this journey I want to share with others. And get the good news out. And that's why I feel a little judgmental now, because, but not at the same time. Back when I was fake evangelical, I was just, insert explicit word here, whatever you want, I don't care. I was that. I really was, and I may not have been that way to everyone. But it came out a couple times. And it was wrong. I thought I was right, but I wasn't. Because I didn't really feel it. I'd have known. But now it is, and I want to share it. I have to share it. There's really no question about it. So I really, that's why I'm doing this. It's a big thing. It's a lot of stuff. And you can take from it what you want. It's your path. It's your, whatever. It's all going to be different for different people. I'm not a fan of saying everyone has their own truth. Like, I don't think that can be. I mean, from a scientific standpoint, let alone spiritual. It's just, I don't think it's possible. Now, can it be a large, encompassing truth, so to speak? Perhaps, if that makes any sense. What I'm thinking is that perhaps, if there is that, it's a large, we don't understand completely, but I don't think that would change the path that you are supposed to follow. Because I think we're supposed to follow, our personal path, and then the mega, like, spiritual, like, Christian life, for example, the way, and it's a great ride. But once you start it, that's really when you'll know. And just being in that church on Sunday morning, there didn't need to be anything going on. I felt a little new person, talking to a new person, a little shy, but there's something greater going on. Something, just being there. And, it could be, say what you want. It could be the sights, the sounds, really, not many sounds or sights to see, not moving. It wasn't like, the best way to explain it is this. In that 10-15 minutes I was in there, I experienced more peace, and I'll just leave it peace. I mean, I don't think I need to expound upon it more, than all the multitudes of whatever, songs that we could sing in churches that I've been to, and whatever, all over what I've seen. The charismatic, there was no flailing, it was calm, it was there, but it spoke so much more than anything. It was louder than any of those mega church things, the concerts, the experiences, the worship, and that is, I almost feel like crying. I don't want to cry. I'm not gonna cry because, well, I'm choosing not to. But it's there. That's really as simple as I can put it. That's something. That's, that's what's my story. I wanted to share it, and I wish everyone peace and finding the path, the true path, finally, finally, because it is what it is. I, finally find the peace that surpasses all understanding, as they say. I don't think I need to label it with any more words, really. It's a big thing. It wasn't one experience. It's still going. And this might seem crazy, but I just wanted to talk about it and say good night, good morning, good day. Just search, just start. Even if you think, I know this, my church is true, whatever, you have that idea, challenge it, you know? Don't be afraid. And, good luck with everything. I'm gonna say good day.